Shalom, shalom, Israel. I'm your servant Asher Yahoo. All praises go to the Most High Yahuwah and His Son Yahushua the Mashiach. And this is kind of like a second part that I had to make in regards to the video that I just posted, which is a message to my bros and sisters and the enemy. Before I did this video, I consulted just to get an opinion with a few brothers, and they said, you know what, it is really needed. Well, what we really care about is the nation. But as soon as I put up the video, there were people that didn't really even watch the video. They just decided to comment on this, and I actually received a few phone calls in regards to this, what everybody ignorantly wants to call a star, whether it's the star of Esau or Moloch or a satanic star, whatever it is. Now, when I made the video and I saw the comment by my brother who I respect, I decided to reflect on that. And the reason I decided to reflect on the comment was because my main objective, and it's always been my main objective, is to wake up the nation of Israel. Right? To wake up the nation of Israel at any price, including death. And usually what happens is, I don't know if people really notice this, but in reality it's very true, that when you say something, whether it's positive or negative, about someone's action, it's because you also see a piece of that within yourself. So me making that video and saying that people needed to drop the names of the camps and come together as one, I decided to reflect on this. And here it is. Let's deal with the facts and let's deal with scripture. The Most High created the stars. And for those that have actually researched star or stars, they are round. They don't have any points in them. The earth could be considered a star. The moon could be considered a star. The sun could be considered a star. So maybe in the book of Amos, just maybe, it was talking about, if we go by scripture and facts, maybe it was talking about the sun or possibly the moon. That's just a little food for thought and research for those that are really interested in that. But that's really not my cup of tea. What I'm really into is the truth, waking up the nation of Israel. And in regards to that, I would like to read something before I tell you what I plan to do with what everybody ignorantly likes to call a star. So with that, I would like to start with 1 Peter's 1 and 8. Sorry, 1 verse 18. As it is written, for as much as ye know that ye were not redeemed with corruptible things as silver and gold from your vain conversations received by tradition from your fathers. Tradition from your fathers. That's the key point. Not a star. You can't prove in any shape, way, or form that this is a star, either of Esau or Moloch. Drawings are not factual. They're not archaeology either. Some can be, but a lot of them have been whitewashed, as we already know. And we truly know what a star looks like. This here, my brothers and sisters and enemies, is tradition. Tradition. Okay? With that, I would like to jump really quick to Colossians 2 and 8. Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit. Does not apply. After the tradition of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after the Mashiach. Tradition of men, of a man, Solomon. I know they call it the Magen David, but this has got nothing to do with King David. There is no proof that this has something to do with King David. Solomon was the one that brought this in. But just because Solomon sinned and had a whole bunch of women from the other nation as concubines and whatnot, and because he was into Satanism up to a certain point, does not mean that this is a star. Nevertheless, the star of Molech or the star of Esau. This is tradition of our fathers. And to finish it off, it's on a bit of a different topic, but it applies because it's also dealing with tradition. Matthew 15, starting at 1. Then came to the Mashiach scribes and Pharisees, which were of Jerusalem, saying, Why do thy disciples transgress the tradition of the elders? Tradition of our forefathers, the elders. Get it? For they wash not their hands when they eat bread. But he answered and said unto them, Why do ye also transgress the commandment of the Most High by your tradition? Now, how does this tie in? How are we transgressing the law, okay, by wearing this tradition here? This symbol, this sign, because it's not a star. I think if you open up your heart, you'll realize that this is not a star. And the enemy was the one that called this a star. So think about it. We don't want to believe the man for many things, but here we are, eating it up that this is a star. So how does that tie in? How does that piece of story tie in with this? How is this making us sinful? I'll tell you how. Love thy brother. This is making us argue. This piece of tradition here is making us argue. This is making us call each other's name. MFs and this and that, and calling each other idiots and all kinds of different foul names. This also, along with the fact that people are naming camps and separating the nations, this is adding a piece of log to the fire. Tradition. So therefore, because my main point is to bring the nation together and not follow tradition, I am dropping this. Because I love my nation more than I love tradition. I love the Most High more than I love tradition. I'm not dropping it because they say that this is the Star of Molech or a satanic symbol. You have no proof except drawings. That's all you have as proof. So therefore, I'm dropping this again because of tradition and because my main point is to bring Israel. And this right here is not helping. That is my reflection that I had from that one comment that I've received so far on it. As I have taken the time to look into myself because of the video that I made, I also hope that you, for the sake of our nation, would do the same. If I am willing to say that people should do things, then there's obviously something in myself that I should also be willing to do, especially if it doesn't apply to Scripture, because this is not mandated to be worn by Scripture. So there, plain and simple. I'm willing to open up my heart, not to give up on what other people say, but to search within myself and find some truth within Scripture. And I think I provided with the few scriptures that I read that in actuality, this is just tradition, and this tradition is keeping us separated. So with that, hopefully I'll get some comments. And all I really have to say is shalom, peace, and love to my nation Israel and to the enemy. Much love.